How to not become a social autist whilst becoming successful. Let's go. So, the first bit of advice I would give you is to go and be a social Chad in the gym for 2 to 3 hours daily. When you are on like a hard grind to become successful, you're working on a business, it's so easy to think that you should minimize the hours in the gym and you should not work out as much. And I totally get that because when you work out really, really hard, especially when you're doing weightlifting like bodybuilding, it is so taxing for your brain that you turn almost retarded for like 6 hours after you work out. So that definitely can make sense. Still, though, when you do go to the gym, this isn't really about the workout, what routine you'll do, whatever. But when you go to the gym, instead of making it a very quick in and out session, okay, you're in there for like less than an hour. You just do the workout, you've got your hoodie up, music in, and you just go. What I've always done and what kept me sane through periods of monk mode and sort of social isolation was I keep about a 3 hour block for the gym from the moment that I'm getting ready, from the moment that I come back and shower. And in this time, I end up doing about the 1 hour workout, but I speak to so many people. Like there'll be, 10-minute conversation here, 2 minutes there, 5, 15, sometimes half an hour conversation with, whoever I'm speaking to in the gym. Sometimes I'll even go on my phone in the gym, like on a phone call. And a lot of people are against this because they're like, no, like I go to the gym to work out. I don't go to talk to people. Yeah, sure, okay. But if anything, this actually makes you like more gains because you're taking longer rest breaks. So scientifically, this actually makes sense in terms of gains. But the big thing is the gym might be the only time you're actually leaving the house in these periods of like extreme success and big grind. If that's the case, it makes sense to me to just stay out longer and not be rushed getting away from conversations with people. Overall, I've found that when I go to the gym for about 3 hours total, doing the same workout, but I'm just kind of speaking to people for ages. I'll speak to the receptionist beforehand and ask her like, questions about her, and we'll talk for 5, 10 minutes. Then I'll speak to the manager, he's there. Then I'll go upstairs, I'll speak to the people there, then I'll get changed, whatever. It's like when you speak to like everyone, what I've noticed is my energy is so much better that then when I come home, I actually end up like making more money because, if you're making sales videos, if you're going on calls with clients, if you're recording content, you'll do so much better when you're actually in like a happy mood and you genuinely seem fulfilled. You can't really fake that. You can try to, but people can smell if you're living like a good life in your sales calls, in your content, in your coaching calls. And when you genuinely are so satisfied, like you've got more than enough social experience, you don't feel lonely, you'll end up just closing more deals, making more money. So this is a really lovely way to not become a social autist whilst you work really hard. Just keep being a social Chad in the gym. Go into the gym and be like the guy who just happens to know everyone because you take an interest in each person. So you speak to the old guy here and he's talking about like his wife just had surgery. So the next time you see him, you'd be like, oh, Anthony, like, how are you? How's your wife? Was it all okay? And it's, bro, you feel fucking, honestly, you feel fucking terrific when you are this guy. I've had, like, look, I've been going to the gym for 12 years. I've done the sort of hoodie up, oh yeah, I don't give a shit about anyone. I'm just here to work out, whatever. I've got my headphones on and shit like that. And I've also done social chat. I walk in almost like a grandpa who's social to everyone. I know personal details about like everyone's life story and I ask them about it. I end up getting into deep conversations. Every now and then someone will cry while speaking to me because we're having like deep conversations. And what I'm telling you right now, it's so interesting. In these seasons, I'm happier because I'm being social and that's what humans are meant to do. But what's interesting is I end up making more muscle in these seasons because you actually enjoy the gym more. You end up having longer rest breaks, which is actually better for gains. And in these seasons, I often end up going to make more money as well because of the fact that I'm just overall more fulfilled. I've got better stories to tell like in my content. And, when people ask me like, what did you do on the weekend, whatever. And I can say like, oh, I was speaking to this guy and this is what happened, whatever. So overall, the life is way better as a social Chad rather than the guy who comes in and, oh yeah, I don't want to speak to anyone, whatever. So I find this is way better. And you might think, oh, well, 2 to 3 hours is so excessive. I need every hour I can get. I think the hour that you spend here, like the 2 extra hours to socialize, is higher ROI than usually most other things, including even some parts of working on your own business. All of us are wasting like an hour or two on low leverage work that we don't really need to do. And you may as well spend it socializing. Like if you click on this video because you don't want to be a social autist, then this clearly is the goal. Now, let me just slap you in the face here. You clicked on this video because you don't want to be a social autist. Did you think it was going to come for free? Did you think you didn't need to spend more time being social? No, of course not. So don't get upset that I'm recommending something that requires time because naturally you need to put some time into your social life if you don't want to become a social autist. So up to like 3 hours a day, I have always been fine with. And also, like, I'm on a plus 100K a month profit right now. So, and I've been at 200K before whilst this timetable. So you have the time to do this. And it's just a great way for you to stay like a sort of sane kind of like human being in the physical world. Because most of us, we're just working online on like our laptops, and we are just in like sort of autist mode, looking at the screen, looking at numbers, doing all this bullshit. When you go to the gym as like social chat, you actually are there physical, and it brings like this extra energy in your life where you're like, oh yeah, like I'm really actually here. Like, I've just been staring at the computer screen for hours. I'm actually in this bitch. Like, yeah, this feels nice. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Go and spend 2-3 hours. What I do specifically is at about 8 a.m., that's when I get ready for the gym. I've already worked like a few hours here in the morning time. Get ready for the gym, usually start the workout by about 8:30. And as soon as I get to the gym, in fact, I'll give you a hack for this. This is a big hack. I promise you this is fucking huge. I did this once years ago, and I still do it consistently every single day now. On the way to the gym, let's imagine this is your house and this is the gym. I swear to God, this is so big, but it's so simple. On the way to the gym, whether you get in the car and you drive, I go on my bike and I drive to the gym, right? Or you walk to the gym. As soon as you are getting ready and you leave your house, I promise this is huge. Please take this serious because it's going to seem kind of silly. Force yourself to smile. Force yourself, the moment you leave your house, force yourself to smile. Force yourself to just do a big fake laugh. And it's so silly. It's so silly that literally it turns into a real laugh. And force yourself to maintain this laugh all the way into the gym. I am telling you, this one thing, which takes you 1 second to do, like fake a smile, fake a laugh, fake it all the way up until you get to the gym, and fake it when you're walking into the gym. Already be laughing. Tell a joke to yourself. Like, just tell funny jokes to yourself. Remind yourself of funny, silly, stupid shit. Whatever you need to do so that you have a smile on your face. Because when you walk into the gym with a smile on your face, 10 times more people will want to speak to you, and you will feel like you will have no feeling of being a social autist if you do this one simple trick. I promise you, one of the best, like, this is one of the best advice I could give you in terms of social life, in terms of happiness, joy, all those kinds of things which are so important. Smiling is like an S plus like tier. It is literally a goated tactic. Smiling. All of us are focused on like fucking body language and what to say, making money. These things are nice. That might make about 5% of you becoming social. The biggest thing with being social is like, do you literally look like a happy guy that other people want to talk to? And the smile is the easiest way. This is also, by the way, how you end up attracting a girl in the gym. When this is how girls end up getting a crush on you, is that you are just smiling already, and then they look at you. Being like sort of plain faced, oh yeah, nothing's really making me smile, I'm not going to fake a smile. And then when someone looks at you smiling, feels kind of odd and forced. You know how there's been so many times you feel like a fucking autist because someone looks at you, you're in like this sort of plain face, nothing's making you smile. And then you kind of like smile when someone looks at you, but it almost feels like fake, and then they kind of look away, they don't smile back. The way to make someone smile when they look at you is that you are already smiling, they look at you, and then they turn into a smile. If you are not smiling and they look at you, that's like when it feels awkward and you kind of make like a fake smile then, but it just fucks up and they don't smile back, they turn around, whatever. I'm telling you right now, the amount of attraction you get from women when you are the guy who's already smiling, like before, they've even looked at you, and then you make eye contact and you will see them instantly go into a real smile when they look at you. The amount of girls who have said to me like, oh, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to be with you is because you were just smiling. I don't know if you remember or not, but we walked past this one time 6 months ago and you had the biggest smile on your face. Like, girls are so attracted to this, guys as well. Everyone is attracted to the guy who's just smiling. And I'm telling you right now, the hack with smiling is to not think that something needs to happen so then you can smile. No, that's not how it works. You smile and then the thing that makes you sort of happy turns up. Does that make sense? Like, we think we need to be happy and then we can smile. No, that's not how it is. You force the physical sensation of smiling and then you get things that make you happy. Then it's like your brain starts to produce thoughts that make you smile and feel happy. Then other people respond to you in a way that makes you feel happy. You have to start with the body language of smiling. I promise this is such a big hack. So the way to autistically do this is, Whenever you leave your house going to the gym, the moment you walk out of your door, just put on a big fucking smile, just the same way that you wear clothes. Put the smile on. Like, it's, you can say it's unnatural, but it's also unnatural to wear clothes, but no one debates that, right? Like, okay, fair enough. I'm naked. My dick's hard right now. Fair enough. That okay, sure. But like, but either way, it's unnatural to wear clothes, right? But no one complains about that. It's only when it's something like this or with body language that people think, oh, it's a bit weird, it's a bit unauthentic. But it's inauthentic to wear clothes as well. We're not supposed to really wear clothes. We're just fucking animals, right? So the same way you wear clothes is the same way that you should just wear a smile. Like, you choose your fucking outfit for the day. Why wouldn't you choose a smile? Of all the things that we choose to wear, a smile is the most important thing. Don't you think that, oh, but it's a bit unauthentic? No, just because the masses of people, yeah, sure, most people don't do it. Okay, sure, but like, we don't want to be like most people anyway. I'm telling you right now, like, if you want to be a socially dominating person who's like extremely charismatic, you need to start putting on a smile the same way that you put on a t-shirt. So the moment you leave your house to go to the gym, put on a big smile, drive over to the gym, walk over to the gym, and have it on like as if you're telling yourself funny jokes. And no one's gonna think it's weird, by the way. No one literally ever comes up to you and be like, "Why are you smiling?" No one's gonna say that, because they'll just seem fucking miserable. And if they do, it's like, okay, they're miserable people. It doesn't fucking matter. Act like, you tell yourself funny jokes in your own mind, burst into laughs. I'm telling you, it is so attractive when you do this, and it pulls people who are like out of your league into you, because everyone wants to be around the smiling, happy person. So that's one of the biggest tips I'll give you. Go to the gym for a longer period of time, talk to people, and smile. One other thing I'll just say with the gym is, I do my standard workout, right? So this is my sort of lifting workouts, about like an hour long. Inside of this, instead of it being 1 hour, full focus, supersets, whatever, it ends up becoming like 1:30, 1:45, because I usually speak to people inside. And the workouts where I speak to people and we're laughing and stuff is usually always better, even for the workout as well. But what I do after that is I go into the sauna and I stay at the gym for an extra sort of hour or two. Your gym might not have this, which is a shame, but I would 100% recommend upgrade your gym to one that has sauna, pool, restaurants, and stay there afterwards. It depends on like which kind of gym you go to, but my gym back home had this vibe, and every gym in where I live now, Bali, has like this vibe where you go to the gym, sure, but it's made for you to socialize with what's called recovery areas, which is basically like sauna, ice bath, restaurants, cafes, whatever, sunbeds. You lie around, you journal, you go there, and there's literally just girls reading books and journaling, and then this guy's like, talking to two people here, then there's like three people swimming in the pool here, then there's like two people in the sauna there's one person in the ice bath. Like, it's made for you to go and speak to people and to spend an extra like multiple hours a day. I usually only spend like an extra hour here, but like some people spend like all fucking day in these places, and it's made to do that, right? So if you can upgrade your gym, which usually will just cost like $200 a month, to a gym like this, then you can go and spend 1 hour in this type of place. If you've got like a kind of grungy gym that you just want to get in and out, fair enough. But to that, I would say probably go add something in your timetable that once you finish in the gym, you go to the nearby cafe and get like a protein shake from there or something, whilst you go and speak to the waitress. Then you sit down and you make it a challenge to go and speak to someone new. The social interactions you have are so valuable that it's worth the extra 1 hour of your day. Honestly, it's really worth that, because not only is it going to be good for your sort of happiness, for your joy, but that also translates into more money, more deals closed, better content, because you're actually genuinely happy. One other thing which is really important about socializing is realizing that your calls and your conversations with clients and students and customers, that actually counts as socializing if you banter. So imagine you have a coaching call or a sales call, and it's very professional, it's like very like specific and whatever. Okay, that doesn't count. That's like a work thing, fair enough. But if you happen to speak to your clients, like if you're a coach, for example, if you happen to speak to your clients in a very banterous kind of way where you're laughing, their life story, they know yours, honestly, that actually counts. I know that this might sound like a dystopian sort of reality thing, like, oh, that's your friendship. But honestly, like some of your clients, like especially if you're a coach and you've had a client for 3 months and he's watched a ton of your content and you've known him and you know about his girlfriend, maybe you've met in person in some masterminds, whatever, that genuinely is very similar to like a real, genuine friendship, because a friendship is actually based on the mutual exchange of value. Yeah, he's giving you money, but you're also giving him wisdom. That's actually what a friendship is quite like in the normal world anyway. So even though you are not so much speaking to people sort of in person, new people, if you happen to be taking like multiple calls a day or even like a 1 hour call a day, I actually personally find that kind of like scratches the itch of my social need. It's not fully enough, because something in person, people who you speak to outside of anything to do with work is still important. But it's just something to know that if you're going to take some calls, it actually does kind of count as like a bit towards your social life. Next, living with a like-minded friend is the biggest hack for socializing around the clock. So for the past few months, I lived with my friend Kaz. I just met him recently in my gym. Turns out he's a big YouTuber, 1 million plus followers, in the same kind of niche as me, like self-improvement, just he speaks Arabic. So it's very similar, great personality, like one of the best men that I've met in my life. So generous, so kind-hearted. That was fucking weird. My phone almost never goes off. Fucking my food delivery's outside, he's waiting for me. But yes, awesome guy, right? And he's a YouTuber as well. So what we did was I told him randomly, I was like, come live with me in my villa. Just come move your stuff here and just live here for a bit because we can just both be disciplined, talk YouTube and everything. So for a few months he lived here. We also had another friend, my friend Sam as well. He lived with us. So for a few months I've had 2 guys and then just 1 guy live with me. And what happens is even when you are on your disciplined routine where, you're sticking to the same timetable, you're almost still living like your solo day. In between all those periods of like, okay, I'm getting ready for the gym, I'd go downstairs and he's there making a coffee. He's not going to the gym right now. We're not mixing sort of our routine or anything crazy. We're still in like sort of discipline mode. But just because he's there, I end up having like a 5-10 minute funny conversation when I'm putting my shoes on. He's making a coffee, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, make me a coffee. I'll drink a coffee before I go to the gym." And we start speaking about like really wholesome things. We start speaking, and it's like it checks the social life without it needing to be like an organized event of like, "Oh hey bro, are you free on 9 a.m. next Friday the 17th? And then let's meet at this time for a pre-designated 2-3 hours." You know what I mean? So if you can live with someone, what you'll find is you won't even need to like organize the sort of social occasion. Okay, let's meet up 9 a.m. tomorrow or whatever. Because if you're anything like me, you probably won't do this kind of socializing much. Like I've got my routine and you probably do as well. Okay, I wake up at this time and then I do this at this time or whatever. My entire day is plotted out. So when I have a friend who messages me and says like, "Oh, hey bro, let's do something soon. Let's go for dinner." I'm like, yeah, like 6 p.m.'s already taken. Like that's the time I live stream. I eat dinner at like 1 p.m. Like, right, I'm a fucking weird, like I'm fucking autistic when it comes to like success and shit, right? So I eat dinner so fucking early. So a friend will say like, "Oh, come on, let's go do something soon," and I'm like, but my day's already plotted out. I don't just have the time for it. I can make the time, but honestly, I really love my routine, and I'm in a discipline mode, right? Like I've really focused on sort of work and success right now. That even though I can do it, I kind of just don't want to, and I know that if I do it, I most likely might have less fun than if I do the routine that I've really, I'm like really focused on right now. If you are like me and your default answer to most social events is no, what I've found is that when you live with someone, it's so much easier because you don't really make a plan with them of like, "Oh, hey, bro, let's meet downstairs for a coffee at 9:46. You don't really say that. You just happen to walk past each other and you're like, "Oh, you want a coffee? I'll make you one." And you end up talking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. My friend Kaz would come to me and be like, "Oh, bro, I just recorded the best video ever. It was on this topic." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to go record one on that topic as well. Thank you, bro." We're laughing. Okay, then, we're not even going to do something together. Like I'm going to the gym at 8. He goes to the gym at like 12 or something. We're not even like sort of mixing our routine. But the little blocks of time, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, was so valuable. Now that he's not living in my villa anymore, he got his own place again. I've noticed that like my sort of social life has definitely drastically went down because of those little moments in the day that you didn't ever have to sort of organize or make a decision on. Now that I don't really have those moments other than in the gym, I can definitely feel the difference, which is fine because, it was what we planned. Okay, we're going to live separately so we can just focus on our own things and have space and whatever. But just something for you to consider. What I would recommend is have periods, like kind of like seasons of seasons of the year, sorry, where you live with a friend and you also live kind of solo or sort of with a girlfriend. So you might live with your girlfriend solo for like 4 months, 5 months in a row, and then you might end up doing like a 1 month period where you actually live with a friend. So for a month, you get your girl a different place, or you move out to like a different villa with your friend, and you go like disciplined soldier army mode with your friend, and you both wake up early and you go extreme discipline to kind of get that sort of masculine spirit back, and then you go back to like, okay, so living solo again for a month or living with your girlfriend, whatever. So I think you don't need to live with like your friend all year round, because after like a few months together, me and my friend, we were like, it would be nice to have like my own space. You know what I mean? And he felt the same way. So probably like a month or two every few months, few times a year makes sense to have that sort of friend block that's the way that I would do it. So I said to my friend Kaz, I was like, we had this idea. Yeah, like a few times a year, we'll get together, we'll live with each other for about 1 to 2 months to just sort of skyrocket the discipline again, to hold each other accountable, to spot the weaknesses in each other. Because when you live with a friend who's actually like disciplined like you are, he will notice weaknesses in you that you kind of know yourself, but you've been letting slip. And he will notice, and if he's a good friend, he'll tell you. And that's so valuable, because there's things that your girlfriend won't ever tell you. There's things that you might not even sort of pick up on yourself. But if you have a friend who's kind of like me, like, someone who can pick out things that you're fucking up on and sort of masculine, criticize you in that sort of masculine way, that can be so valuable. So just like a month or two every now and then can really make sense, and that can really help with you not becoming like a social autist, like, because you're topping up the social life every few months. But one final thing that I would say is, don't swim upstream. When it comes to not becoming a social autist, this is one of the most important things. Let me play out this scenario, because this is going to be so interesting. And if you are like the person I'm about to speak about, maybe you don't want to consider taking the advice that we've just spoke about. Let's say right now you are in a season of life in which your socializing is actually kind of difficult. Let's say you live at home with your family. You can't really invite friends over to your place. You go to the gym, but there's basically no one who you actually want to be friends with there. Everyone's a bit of a normie, Jeffrey. You live in your sort of hometown, your home country, but like, let's say it's like the UK or whatever, Australia. And everyone who becomes successful, they end up leaving these countries. Like, successful people, 99% of the time, don't stay in a lot of sort of first world countries anymore, because you just get treated like shit, which means that by nature of that, most people who are in these countries are actually kind of like mid. They're actually kind of like normie Jeffries, because as soon as you make a decent amount of money, 5K a month, 10K a month, you basically leave these countries. So anyone who's still in your gym, they're usually like not even that good people. Like, I know that sounds offensive, but it is. Like, anyone who's come from these countries and moved around is nodding their head knowing exactly what I mean. When you make money, you leave these kinds of countries, right? Not every country, but like where I come from, it's pretty normal to do this. Australia is very similar to this. That means that if you are at home right now, in your home country with your family, and you can't really bring friends over to your place, you go to the gym, but there's no one you genuinely want to be friends with. Yeah, it would be nice to socialize and talk to people, but everyone's just a bit of a fucking normie. Everyone's vaping. Everyone's going out being a degenerate. You don't like have anything in common with these people. Yeah, they go to the gym, but other than that, they're just completely undisciplined, unambitious people. Then it's like, what I would say to you is, why swim upstream? Why try to force yourself to be very social and to have friends right now when it's just like very difficult, and the sort of ROI is actually so low for your efforts? Let's say, for example, you're at like a very important point in your business where, for example, maybe you're not making much money at all, but within the next 6 months, you could actually start to make a good amount, 5K, maybe even 20K a month. Right now, if you're not making much and you really need as much focus as possible on your work, it isn't crazy for me to suggest to you, maybe you just kind of ignore your social life. The same with your dating life. If, for example, you're not attracting any like good girls right now, you ignore those two parts of your life. You focus entirely just on your sort of work, making money, online, fitness, for example. Okay, you keep yourself sane with, mental health habits. You still speak to your family, whatever. Up until you can then move, let's say you move across the world to somewhere which is way more social, and you move to somewhere like, the hot spots of the world where there's lots of people like us, Bali, Dubai, Austin, whatever. You move to these places where there's so many young, ambitious, disciplined entrepreneurs, and there you be extremely social. Because here, like for example, in Bali, the stream, which way is is it going upstream, downstream? The stream is basically pushing you, like the momentum pushes you here to be social. It's almost hard not to be social in where I live. Like when you go to the gym, people are so friendly, people are so open. It's hard not to be social. But back home, it's definitely harder to be social, and you can still speak to people in the gym and have pleasant conversations, but you will find that you've got like almost nothing in common with them. It won't be like real friendship. It'll just be kind of like, a bit of like shallow conversations, which aren't bad, but maybe you want to hold off on that. It's the same with dating, right? So what I say to young guys is, by all means, go ahead and date, and it's enjoyable. I totally get it, fine. But if you're living in a place right now where, for example, you can't bring a girl back to your place, there's nowhere that you can even have like sex with her, you can't even go on a date with her or something, you're not even attracting girls right now anyway, then it doesn't make sense for you to even be thinking about dating. If, for example, right now, you're not even attracting girls, every girl's rejecting you, you're using dating apps and getting basically no matches. It doesn't make sense for you to even be sort of trying to contemplate dating right now because it's just a big fucking waste of time. You may as well level yourself up and get to the point where you can actually, you move out of your home, you've got a place where you can actually like have sex with the girl that you want, and then you can start considering your dating life. Do you get what I mean by what I say when I say upstream? If you live a lifestyle and in an environment which is going upstream, like you're getting so much resistance, like you're trying to go upwards, but it's pushing you back down. If you're getting so much resistance to leveling up your social life or your dating life, consider that maybe this like block of time, maybe this 6 months that you're currently living in, maybe this isn't the time for you to be sort of social and dating and whatever. Maybe right now is the time to fucking shave your head, go fucking monk mode, and just fucking work on your business, do some meditation and, some self-improvement habits, and go to the gym as well. Maybe this is just the time for this. And then in a few months, you've got a great physique, you've been leveling up self-improvement, you're disciplined, you're making money, and then you move over to somewhere like, let's say if you happen to be like 18 years old, in a few months you're moving out to college. Right now, that's the time to be like ultra social, right? Because in college, it's downstream, like all of the energy is pushing you to be social. It doesn't make sense if you live in your little hometown right now, and there's, you've tried to date but no girls want you. You've tried to be social but you can't really find any friends. It doesn't make sense for you to sort of spend time doing those things right now when you can just level yourself up in preparation for college, knowing that you're going to be very social here. It also doesn't make sense to be in college and try not to be social and try not to date, because right now it's pushing you toward that. It doesn't make sense to be somewhere like traveling or college and say like, no, like I'm just going to focus on work right now, because you're literally in one of those seasons of life where it's so aligned to you being social, and you won't get this, like, you'll only have a few seasons of life like that. It makes sense that after college, that's when you get more serious on the sort of money thing, whatever. Just ask yourself, what period, what season of life should you actually be in? Forget about what you desire right now. What is your current environment, the place you live, your lifestyle? What is it making it easy for you to do? Just ask yourself that question, because if the answer is being social, let's say you live in a place that's so easy to be social, then go ahead and 100% do that and go and social max and make a great group of friends and make memories and stuff, fair enough. But if you are like upstream and you're in like a sort of anti-social kind of environment, potentially you don't place so much weight onto being social right now. The same with dating, right? You potentially don't place so much weight on it right now, and just sort of do it later when, for example, you're going to college or you're going to start traveling and you're going to be living by yourself in 6 months from now. That's a good time to be social and dating and stuff. If right now you're basically getting no girls, you're basically finding no guys to be friends with, it's not crazy for you to just say, you know what, I'm not going to think about being social. I'm not going to think about being like dating right now. I'm just going to focus on sort of money, on my physique, but also, still some social confidence. Like I'll still go and approach people just to get used to it, but I'm not going to really try and be like friends. I'm just going to get used to cold approaching, whatever. So then when I start traveling, I'm really going to be ready for it. This is just one counterpoint to everything we've discussed today. So just ask yourself, like, what season of life are you actually in? If you find yourself being in a season of life where being social and being sexual is extremely difficult, perhaps you just want to delay that goal for now and focus on the things that are actually easier for now. You're still being productive, you're just focusing on the things that your lifestyle kind of aligns to, because in a few months or a year from now, you'll end up moving somewhere where it's so much easier to be social, and it kind of just is more efficient and effective for you to kind of wait for that period to become really social again. So just bear that in mind. Quick ad. Check out the links in the description if you want. The advanced self-improvement course that's linked in the description, I swear to God, is one of the best courses on the internet. Have a look. I've put in so much fucking work. If you like these advanced videos, which are just full of pure education, you will absolutely love the advanced self-improvement course. Have a look. It's in the description. Goodbye.